What's up, guys? On this week's episode, we chop it up with Courtney Collins about how to use social media to market your business. You'll learn something. Check it out.
People calling me up saying they need a feature, saying we can help each other, but I see the leeches. Get the credit where it's due, I ain't talking Visa, but since we talking Visa, don't say you won't pay me either. Did you catch that?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up, everybody? I am here with the man, Courtney Collins. Tell us a little bit about what you do, how you got to where you are.
So, my story kind of started, my entrepreneurial journey kind of started in 2003, 2004. I got fired from a job.
Where are you from?
From Detroit.
Yeah.
From Detroit, born and raised, Metro Detroit. And my background was graphic design. Like, I thought I was gonna be a basketball player, to be 100% honest. Like most, young kids thinking athlete, star, whatever. And went to Henry Ford Community College, which is a school in Metro Detroit for graphic design. And tons of ups and downs, tons of successes and failures and disappointments, the whole roller coaster. I ended up at a company, a really good company called Buckeye Pipeline.
Cool.
So I ended up getting an intern type position to eventually become like an engineer, pipeliner, which was like I said, is like a career type situation, like one of those things you plan to retire from.
Yeah.
So at an early age,
it's a long-term
life
commitment,
exactly.
And that's when it pays off kind of later on. Pension,
401k, everything
super
laid out.
structured, low risk.
My own vehicle.
Yeah.
Life was good. 22 years old, bought a house, bought a car. I was literally living the dream I was sold or thought, how I was supposed to do it.
Well, what we're told the definition of success is as a kid.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And so that was kind of like my start of adulthood, so to speak. And 2.5, 3 years into that job, got called into the office almost like a movie. Like literally, went in, everything's fine. Supervisor want to see you in the office. That's weird. Supervisor never wants to see me in the office. Yeah. Go to the office, and just like that, like it was over. 30-minute conversation. Car doesn't work no more. Can't access anything. Get in the car and head home, and just try to figure out what in the heck just happened.
Yeah.
Like how did things? Like how did I end up
So you're
here?
25, no
24,
job. 24.
24, no job. A lot of positives though, like it wasn't the normal scenario where there's no money saved, like, I don't know how to eat, I had put myself in a decent position, I had a 401k, bills were paid and caught up, so like I had a little time to like think things through and try to figure out the next move.
Yeah.
And so from that point, I resorted back to the thing that I knew I could do to make money, and that was being a barber. I had cut hair all grown up. My dad was kind of a barber. My brother was a barber. And so I learned how to cut hair.
Sure.
And through high school, I made money cutting hair. I had a pocket full of money from the neighborhood. And so went to a friend who I knew owned a barbershop, asked her could I come work. And she was cool with it. She said you just need to go to school like while you're working. Did that, and that was like the start. First day, made a nice amount of money, and just realized like I've been pushing this talent or this skill away because it just was too easy. Like I felt like I needed to be challenged. Like I'm not supposed, like you're not supposed to make money. This is this is before this kind of
like
mindset. Yes, this is before this mindset has kind of taken over now. Yeah. But once upon a time, like people didn't think like that. Like entrepreneurship wasn't cool. It wasn't like the thing to do. If you're an entrepreneur, you are a drug dealer or like doing something to cover up some illegal activity or something like that.
It's interesting. I was a DJ, worked a lot in the nightclub world in New York, in Miami, and I always at the same age around that time in my life, I was like, I can't make a successful, living as a DJ. Meanwhile,
Right.
today, like, if you're a DJ, you could literally, you're the biggest rock stars on the planet.
It was the noise, though.
Exactly.
Like internally, I feel like, I don't know if you felt the same way, but internally, it's like, I know I can do this. I know it generates money, but the noise and the people said differently, and it's like it's hard. During that time, it was hard for me to channel the noise out.
And it's not just the noise that's going on at that moment, it's how we've been wired, and that has a lot to do with it too. And a lot of people today, now that I'm 18 years in commercial real estate, and I've built my own business and do a lot of other things as well.
Right.
People are like, you built something great. Yeah, it's like, out of necessity. Like, if I didn't, I would basically be suffering the consequences. So
completely related to that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is, and it's interesting because I think sticking with the entrepreneurship kind of theme, I think it's going to be very interesting, as the years pass, as the economy turns. I've been through downturns, man. I'm doing all of this stuff because I can, but I'm working my ass off all day, every day, whether you see it on.
I say a lot of stuff people don't see.
I don't stop, man. Like, I have no choice, but it's just, that's how I'm wired. Right. So I just caught up with Robert Courtney Collins, who has a very inspirational story. He kind of found early success in a career, and it was stripped from him real fast, unexpectedly, which is something that obviously happens. It was a circumstance that forced him to do something that he needed to rely on to make ends meet, which was cutting hair. So he grew up with a family that cut hair, and he learned how to do so. So he fell back on that right when he lost his job. And then from there, he ultimately expanded into branding and marketing and started his own business. A lot of people today are in corporate jobs where they're making a good living, but they're not happy or passionate about what they do. So Robert's circumstances kind of forced him into finding something that he needed to figure out and what he was going to do the rest of his life. And he was able to kind of build a business around something he was passionate about. But I think it's also interesting on the flip side, for those of you watching this that have a job that you hate waking up and going to, and that kind of sucks. So I think part of the entrepreneurial spirit that's popular today should inspire a lot of people, and Robert's story will definitely help that as well.
So we're here at Bell Works. We're about to give a walking tour to talk about kind of all the happenings here at the property and everything that's been going on. And then we're going to talk a little bit about taking Bell Works as a prototype and the Metroburb that's been created and how we're going to expand that in other areas of the country. And talk about the future of development as we see it. So come along.